Hi everyone, I will be going on a road trip in a few days, and I'm thinking of bringing an iPad to watch some shows on the road. But there isn't any good place for me to put the iPad. Luckily, there is a giant handlebar in front of the passenger seat, which I'll be using to make an iPad holder. My first step is to take some measurements of this handlebar. I want to create an accurate model of this handlebar so whatever I design later will fit tightly around it. But because of its irregular shape, I can only take some rough measurements like width and height, and I will try my best to approximate the shape in Fusion 360. My iPad holder will be mounted on a pair of bands designed to fit tightly around this handlebar. Because the measurements of the handlebar were inaccurate, I'm expecting to go through a few rounds of design and test iterations until I get the tight fit I wanted. After recovering the 3D printed piece that was launched into space, I cleaned up some support material and went ahead with the first test fitting. The band consists of two halves that are fixed with M3 screws. In front of the band, there is a standard GoPro mount, which will be used to mount the iPad holder. Not surprisingly, my first design leaves way too much slack between the band and the handlebar. Back to Fusion 360. After taking a good look at the difference between the band and the handlebar, I gave the handlebar design a much more aggressive shape to close down the gaps. I guess I'm pretty lucky to get this right a second time. As I mentioned, this band comes with a standard GoPro mount, so I mounted a phone holder, which holds my phone perfectly. Now let's move on to the iPad holder. My design for the iPad holder starts from a pair of GoPro mounts that will interlock with the band. On top of that, it will have a back plate supporting the iPad. Here, I designed some holes for M3 screw metal inserts. They will be used to attach two retractable arms with the screws. Because the arms are symmetrical, I got lazy and only designed one side. I used the soldering iron to press the M3 screw metal inserts into the back plate. The extended rails are mounted to the back plate with M3 screws. I chose to use the metal inserts and screws to attach the rails, instead of directly printing the rails on the back plate. This way, each individual part is easier to print and the joint is much stronger. Here I'm taking the support material out of this retractable arm, which is probably the most annoying part of this project. These metal inserts are for attaching the springs later. The retractable arm is tensioned with a spring that is fixed to a screw post on one side. The other side of the spring is fixed to the retractable arm. For some reasons, I designed 2 screw posts for the springs, while 1 is probably enough. I also made 2 add-on GoPro mounts, so the iPad holder can be mounted at the lower position. Now the final assembly. Here I'm adding a second bend to this handlebar. Finally, mounting the finished iPad holder with 2 standard GoPro thumb screws. That's it, and thanks for watching.